Today I am out here in my wildflower garden, and directly behind me I have some berries that I'm picking. Now these berries I definitely will not be eating because they are extremely poisonous. But what I can use them for is dyeing fabric. And a long time ago on our blog, I did a blog post about using plants as fabric dye, and I've kind of been growing these all summer with the intention of giving it a try. So these are pokeberries. They're native to our area, and that's partly why I left them here. But the other reason why I left them here was specifically so I could harvest them for this project. So let's harvest some berries. Alright, so I have a pot that I'm putting these in, but to collect them I'm just using a little pair of nippers here and a cup to drop them into. Because if you get these on your skin, they will definitely stain your skin. So I'm collecting them just like that. Alright, for the sake of safety, I'm doing this in my garage, but in this pot I have the berries along with vinegar. And vinegar, it acts as what's called a mordant, and that'll help fix the color to the fabric. And then also in this pot, I have the fabric that I'm going to be dyeing. Now, when I ordered what I ordered 2 pairs. That way we could do a comparison when we're done and see how we did. So this is a white pair of yoga pants and a shirt. It's really hard to find stuff that's pure cotton linen. So I do yoga, so yeah, bought a set of yoga clothes. But I need to bring it to a boil. It also has vinegar in it, and that'll help the fibers kind of open up so they can accept the dye. So I need to get both boiling and then work to kind of break up the berries and everything. I left the stems in. They have a lot of pigment in them. They're kind of purple. And I think it might make an interesting texture on the finished fabric. So, you know, I'm experimenting. We're going to find out together. Alright, I've been heating this for just a few minutes, and the liquid is already has a beautiful color to it. Let me bump up the brightness here so you can see it. I'll grab some in this cup. So, yeah, check that out. Got this beautiful purple. Now, of course, by the time I rinse and everything, the actual fabric might not come out that exact color, but that's awesome. That's what we're looking for, is a really deep dyeing solution. Alright, I just had a small little my one pot boiled over. This got really close to boiling over. But it does have a good boil now, and it seems like most of the berries have broken down. So I'm going to go ahead and start transferring the fabric over to the pot. Which, whew, yeah, that's hot. We'll go with these first. These are the pants. That's the biggest thing. Because, I don't know, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit larger of a dude, so. Oh yeah, that is a really vibrant color. Okay, now let's get the shirt out of here. Ooh. Try to cool off a corner that I can grab there. Oh, and it's quickly getting hot again. I think this is going to be awesome. Like, I just dipped this in, and look at that color already. I think I'm going to have to top off this, and I'm just, since I need vinegar and water, and this has vinegar in it, that is hot, I'm going to use this. That's kind of interesting. Where I poured it, the dye didn't really stick there. So, don't know how it's going to turn out. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so I've let the fabric cool down overnight, and now I just need to pull it out and give it a rinse. So this is where we're going to find out if the dyeing actually worked or not, or what color we end up with. Definitely very purple. I guess I'll do one piece at a time. Alright, so yeah, looks like you can hear me now. Sorry about that. And yeah, it looked like the video kind of started doing something weird there at the end. Um, I forgot to get a comparison shot. Uh, but after I rinsed everything out, the color didn't quite stay as much as I wanted it to. I ended up with a kind of light pinkish color, and it was kind of weird because after it dried out, it actually kind of went to kind of a more bluish purple hue also. Um, so it was really interesting, and the more I read about it, there's just not a lot of information on dyeing fabric with pokeweed, with pokeberries. We know it is something that was done historically, but you just can't find a lot of information on it online. And a lot of information that I found had conflicting instructions. So I just kind of had to wing it. So it's definitely something I think that I'm going to experiment with in the future. I have that other outfit that I left as a comparison that I could still experiment with. So I might try something else out with some different concentrations of vinegar. And another thing that I read was to use salt as a mordant. So I might try that. But if you go over to our website at bobsmarket.com and check under the show notes for this week's episode, I have a link to an older blog post that I did, and I'm actually going to be reposting it this week on growing a dye garden. And it has a few different ideas in there for natural fabric dyes. And it's something really interesting that you can get into. There's tons of different methods and tons of different plants that you can grow to dye your own fabric. So it's kind of an interesting hobby. It was a fun thing to experiment with. You know, I don't think I would do it as a full-time hobby, but if you're into knitting and sewing and things like that, this might be something interesting to kind of dip your toes into also. This week, I also wanted to feature our pansies, because right now we're getting into the peak of growing finished pansies for the season. And we're kind of at that stage where the greenhouse, it's starting to turn into a quilt of color. But this early on in the season, we're shipping them almost as fast as they're blooming. So I headed out in the greenhouse today to get some of the color, but also talk about why pansies are kind of the perfect crop to plant this time of year in your flower beds. Hi, John Morgan here with Bob's Market and Greenhouses. And today I'm standing here in a sea of pansies. Each summer we grow literally millions of pansies from seed that we transplant and ship all across the US. And right now, heading into fall, it's actually the perfect time to plant pansies. You might be saying to yourself, but John, if I plant pansies now, won't they just die this winter? Now that's what's cool. Pansies are cool weather plants. They'll actually survive through the winter. They kind of go dormant. And then in early March, they'll start growing and blooming again. So that way you get color in the fall, but you also get color in the early spring from March up until you're ready to plant your annuals in May. Pansies are pretty easy to plant and care for also. If you plant them in a flower bed, you just need to water them regularly up until we start getting the first frosts and freezes of the year. And then you just sort of let them go through the winter and do their own thing. And once we start getting warmer weather in the springtime, you want to start watering them again and giving them a little bit of fertilizer to give them a boost going into spring. As I said, pansies are a cool weather crop. So once you get into kind of late April and early May and the weather starts getting warmer, that'll cause your pansies to start to stretch and they start to look kind of lanky, and the bloom quality tends to kind of go downhill. But that is the perfect time to plant your summer annuals. So pansies make the perfect crop for fall and springtime, when normally you wouldn't have very much color in your landscape. For this and other great information, visit us online at bobsmarket.com. So that is some quick tips on caring for pansies. And yeah, as I said, they're the perfect plant to plant this time of year because you get color right now in the fall, and then you also get color in the springtime. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Speaking of pansies and getting out in the garden and planting, let's take a look at the weather. Right now, we've got some beautiful weather. This last month in August, I don't think I've ever seen August that wet. It seemed like I couldn't keep up with mowing the grass, but finally we've got some nice dry weather. And also, this weekend, looks like we're going to be cooling back down to kind of some more seasonable weather. So tomorrow is going to be toasty. We're looking at, right now they're forecasting 92 degrees tomorrow. But then we're going to get some rain on Thursday, and that's going to cool us off heading into the weekend. And then looking at the long-term forecast, we're going to get back into some sunny weather in middle of the week next week. But those temperatures, they're going to stay down and kind of stay more seasonable right now. So yeah, the weather is looking just awesome right now. The last thing that I have is an upcoming event, and that is Green Career Night. So on October 6th at 5 p.m., we're going to be having Green Career Night here at Bob's, and it's going to go along with the broader Green Career Week. We're doing it in conjunction with an organization called Seed Your Future, and I've actually already got a couple presentations booked during Green Career Week. I'm going to be going to Southern High School to speak to their greenhouse class, and then also to Point Pleasant High School to talk to their entire sophomore class. So we're going to be spreading the word on green careers and all the amazing opportunities that exist in the horticulture industry. So the presentation I'm working on is going to talk about stuff beyond Bob's Market and, cover the entire horticulture industry, because we're such a huge industry and we're just not getting enough people that want to go into it. In fact, I never thought green screen. This is probably going to end up, like you can't see it at all. You can see the big 39% there. So 39% of all green collar jobs, that's a little bit of a mouthful. 39% of jobs basically in the horticulture industry are going to go unfilled this year. So yeah, we've definitely got a labor shortage. So yeah, if you know of any school age kids, high school, middle school, that might be interested in a green collar career, make sure you check out Green Career Night and check it out on our website. We have a little reservation form there. That's just so I can get kind of a general head count for planning purposes.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a fun evening. And well, that is all that I have for this week. So until next time, keep growing.